What do you expect to see when you visit a grave? Ideally, that it looks exactly the same as the last time you visited, because it should, right? When I go to visit my departed loved ones in the cemetery where they now rest, I do want their stones to be unchanged. You too? Yeah, maybe a few weeds should be pulled from around the edges, maybe the flowers should be replaced or the shrubs trimmed, but those are expected changes, nothing earth-shaking. A trip to the cemetery should never be earth-shaking. And yet the Easter story, according to Matthew, starts out with a trip to the cemetery and an earthquake. As I tell it to you, try to imagine how it would feel to show up at the tomb of a beloved friend and have this experience. After the Sabbath, as the first day of the week was dawning, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary went to see the tomb. And suddenly there was a great earthquake, for an angel of the Lord descending from heaven came and rolled back the stone and sat on it. His appearance was like lightning and his clothing white as snow. For fear of him, the guards shook and became like dead men. But the angel said to the women, "Do not be afraid. I know that you are looking for Jesus who was crucified. He is not here, for he has been raised, as he said. Come, see the place where he lay. Then go quickly and tell his disciples, he has been raised from the dead, and indeed he is going ahead of you to Galilee. There you will see him." This is my message for you. So they left the tomb quickly with fear and great joy and ran to tell his disciples. Suddenly, Jesus met them and said, "Greetings!" And they came to him, took hold of his feet and worshipped him. Then Jesus said to them, "Do not be afraid. Go and tell my brothers to go to Galilee. There they will see me." This is literally an earth-shaking experience for those two women arriving at the tomb of their beloved teacher, friend, and son, only to feel the actual ground move under their feet as the heavy stone is moved from the tomb that is supposed to hold the broken body of Jesus. Just 2 days ago, he had been publicly executed, a display of Roman power over the Jewish people. The earth had shaken then, too, at the moment of his death. I wonder if these women were surprised at both of the earthquakes, or did they just integrate the sensation of shaking ground into the experience of grief and loss? After all, isn't that how it feels sometimes, like everything has been shaken right off its foundation? So these two shaken, grieving women show up at the tomb, and then they get a second shake-up when the tomb reveals no body inside. Then a flash of lightning, or was it an angel? It happened so fast, but the message they heard was clear. Don't be afraid. I know you're here to see Jesus, but he is not here because he's been resurrected, just like he said would happen. Go ahead, you can have a look, see for yourselves, but then go. Go and tell the others and send them to Galilee, where you can all see the one you're looking for, who is most certainly not dead. That lightning bolt angel told the women not to be afraid, and they kept their feet on the ground, but those poor Roman guards, they were struck as though by an actual lightning bolt. They shook with fear and became like dead men. Ironic, given that their task was to guard the tomb of a dead man who was doing a whole lot better than they were at the moment. While they lay there on the ground, either playing dead or just fainted dead away, Jesus stood up in his own two pierced feet and gave marching orders to the two Marys. His message echoed that of the angel. Don't be afraid, but do go and tell the others to go to Galilee, where they will see me too. And those two women ran because there really was nothing to see at that tomb, except a couple of scared-to-death men who had failed at the simple task of keeping Jesus sealed up inside. Their failed mission was God's great victory. Nothing, not even the most powerful empire in the world, could kill the divine love embodied by Christ Jesus. Even a cross meant to humiliate and intimidate could not stop Jesus or the ones who followed him. His resurrection gave his people hope to continue, not in fear, but in love. Two women ran, not out of fear, but out of love. Love for Jesus and love for his followers who were still entombed by grief. What news they had to share, these women sent by Jesus to do the work of angels and evangelists, of prophets and preachers. They ran to tell the others where to find Jesus. Not at the tomb, no, he was not there. They would find him where else, but at the place they had first encountered him, in Galilee. Galilee meant home and family and friends and fishing, the life they had known before their journey with Jesus. Why go to the tomb when they could return to the place of life in all its complexity? Galilee was a place of water and fish and abundance and joy, and Galilee was also a place of struggle and pain and poverty and injustice. Galilee was life. In Galilee, they had met Jesus and been called by him, and in Galilee, they would meet Jesus again and be commissioned by him to continue going into the world and sharing the love he had shown. In this way, he would never die, but live forever in each of his disciples and in their disciples and in all disciples who would continue following Jesus' way in all times and in all places. Wherever they would go, he would be with them there. And likewise, wherever we go, Jesus will be with us there, because the Mary's message to the followers is just as true for us now. Christ is risen. He is risen indeed. And if you want to see evidence of this resurrection, don't hang out at some tomb where dead men guard a grave. Go where the life is. Go where your life is, where you feel alive. Jesus will meet you there. In fact, he's already there, wondering if you might recognize him. What does he look like? Well, he looks like the people who care for the sick, tend the wounded, teach the children, heal the land, and work for peace. When you see those people, you are seeing Jesus alive and well. Do join them, for they are following his way. Also pay attention to those in need, the hungry, the unsheltered, the children with learning disabilities, the incarcerated, the lonely, the sick, the scared, even the scary. When you see these people, you are also seeing Jesus, alive and in need of healing. He lives in them too, and longs to be noticed. Because once Jesus was liberated from the tomb, he was resurrected into a form that could no longer be contained in one single human body, which is why he can be so hard to recognize, or so easy to recognize if we understand that he is there in every person we meet. When we see him through the eyes of the women who knew him best, we understand that Jesus is not to be found in any one well-guarded place, no matter how lovely and tastefully appointed. A friend of mine recently said she does not think Jesus will be joining anyone in church on Easter morning because he would rather be out in the streets with the people in need of healing. I think she's both right and wrong. Certainly Jesus is in those painful places as he always was, but I do think he is also in our houses of worship, even the fancy ones, built and maintained with a budget that would have him rolling in an empty grave. Here we are today, gathered in such a place, and guess what? Jesus is with us. And it's wonderful we are here, and it's important. Just like the two Marys, we are supposed to be here looking for him. But once I leave this place, it will resemble nothing more than an empty tomb. And may lightning strike me dead if I become just one more guardian of the tomb, trying desperately to keep Jesus locked inside. That lightning-fast angel went and rolled the stone away, and that Jesus, he got out and refused to remain in any one place forever. So yes, we can come to places like this, to churches, and we can meet him, but then we do what he told Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to tell us to do. We go out into the world to wherever our Galilee might happen to be, and we meet him there. We meet him in the ones we serve. We meet him in the ones alongside whom we serve. We meet him in the ones who serve us, all of us together, the living, resurrected Christ, whose body is still broken but longing to be whole. If you can physically reach someone right now, I invite you to reach out and touch their hand, their arm, their shoulder. This is what resurrection feels like. Wherever we gather, few or many, when we join hearts and hands and commit to loving and serving one another, Jesus will be there. Because even now, Jesus refuses to remain in the tomb, however beautifully we might decorate it for Easter. He is not in the tomb because he is not dead. He is risen indeed, and once risen, he lives on, not just in Galilee, but where you live too. All over the world, wherever his followers live out his way of love and service, he lives and still shows us the way of life. Like the two Marys, we could run toward this life or we could stay at the tomb. Which will we choose?